everyone, my name is Dr. Gretchen Stanton and I'll be your instructor for Chemistry 101 this semester. I just wanted to say welcome to the course. I hope you're having a great summer. I look forward to meeting you in the fall. I am about 8 months pregnant, so, well, not by the time you see this video, so I will be missing the first 3 weeks, but I want to assure you that you're going to be in good hands for those 3 weeks, and then we'll just carry on the remainder of the course. There are a few things that I would love for you to do just to get you off to a great start this semester. The first being watching the rest of this video. It goes over our syllabus, especially since I won't be there. It has a lot of helpful hints, a lot of tools, things that we're going to be using throughout the semester, because I really want you to get off to a good start. The second being logging into Canvas. This is going to be our equivalent of Blackboard, but it will have all of the information you need there. I've already posted a lot of exercises, things that you can do to get started under modules, but we'll go over that in the rest of the video. Another thing you can do if you have time and you'd like to get ahead is you can start with looking at our online homework that's going to be Mastering Chemistry. There are a few assignments there where you can go ahead and get started if you like. Even though I will be away, feel free to email me questions. We also have a Facebook page, so post a lot of questions there. You can address them to me. A lot of times your classmates will answer them. But again, I just wanted to say welcome to the course, and I will see you in September.
So here's our syllabus. We have the times that we're going to meet, so all of our information for lecture, etc. is here. We'll have lecture 3 days a week, so Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, and you have the information here. And then we're going to have our lab on Tuesdays and Thursdays only, so we'll have our lecture after we have our lab. We'll have a short break in between. I also wanted to bring to your attention our problem session. So it's going to be on Fridays right after our lecture, and this is mandatory, so not optional. You need to be there for problem solving, but it's a great way. You have time already built into your schedule to get practice in, to ask questions, to work with your classmates, so it's a really good time that's already carved in for you. All of my contact information over on this side, so the best way to reach me is through email. I usually respond pretty quickly. I have my office phone here as well, but again, shoot me an email. That's the fastest way. We have a class Facebook group, so I encourage you to join. This is a great place for you to post questions and interact with your classmates in a more casual way. You can click on the link. I'll also be sending out email invites, but you can just click on the link and join us there. The next thing I have are my office hours, but I also like to call them drop-in hours because, again, this is your time to come and ask me whatever you like, get help, we can work through problems together. I like to stress that it's your time. So I have those on Tuesday mornings and afternoons, Thursday same times, and then Friday afternoons. But if you don't have time in your schedule to come during those times, don't worry, just send me an email, let me know a few times that work for you, and we can figure out a good time for us to meet. But I want to stress that you always have the opportunity to get the help you need. Okay, I'll leave this up to you, but I have a little bit more about my teaching philosophy and why I love what I do, and a little bit more about why we're learning chemistry for your field. So you can feel free to read those on your own.
We have the course description and prerequisites that I'll leave you to read through on your own. But important on this page are going to be things that you need for the course. So the first thing is going to be the textbook. It's a little bit different if you talk to some of your friends maybe who took it last semester. We're going to have just the book in the bookstore. It's not going to come as a book access code for your online homework bundle. Okay, you can buy the textbook, just make sure it's going to be the 4th edition, even though there's a 5th edition. You can buy it in the bookstore, but I recommend just getting it on Amazon.com. You can find them for around $20, so I recommend clicking on this link and looking there first. The next thing you'll need to do is buy an access code for your online homework. So you need the textbook, And then for your homework, you need to get an access code. So you can click on this link, and for our particular course, you have a course ID that you'll enter in, and you just buy that online for $66. Okay. There's one more option where you can get, if you don't want to have the physical textbook, you can get the e-text along with the online Mastering Chemistry for $110. So that's up to you. But again, just make sure it's the 4th edition. Right? We are going to be doing some unit conversions and things, especially at the very beginning of the course. So you're going to need to have a non-programmable calculator. Okay, so nothing that you can program. I have the one that I recommend here, just a TI-30 $10 calculator, but you will not be able to use a programmable calculator on quizzes and exams. So make sure you just go out and get an inexpensive calculator. The next thing you'll need to do is sign up for a TED-Ed account. So I do some classes where they are flipped, which means you'll watch some video lectures at home or read some material at home, and we'll do more of problem solving in class. So a lot of these videos are available through TED-Ed. You'll need to sign up for an account. That way I can see that you actually did your assignment. So you can click on the link there, or for your first assignment, you can click on that link, and then just make sure you sign up for an account. So that's everything that you're going to need for a lecture. For lab, we need another few items. So the first is going to be our laboratory manual. Okay, this is also going to be updated from last semester, so you want to make sure you get the brand new one in the bookstore. It will be around $45. A pair of safety goggles. So I have a picture of the kind here, right? So you don't want the ones that don't have the actual side shields. If they're the big uncomfortable ones, those are probably the right ones, okay? Also, you need to make sure you wear closed-toed shoes. So those are the things that you absolutely have to have. If you want a lab coat or an apron, it's not really necessary, but it's up to you. It's optional. If you have sensitive skin and you're afraid of being exposed, you can also bring in gloves, but that's completely up to you. Right? On the next page, we have a little bit more about our grading. So we have problem session and participation, which is going to be one portion of your grade. So all of the assignments you complete in problem session along with participation. So this is not only participating in class, it's we have a set of startup assignments. So these are going to be questions that you'll be answering from your textbook before we learn about that particular topic. So it's all about coming in prepared. That's also going to be a part of your participation grade. Completing the TED-Ed lessons before you come to class, that way you have an idea of what we're going to talk about that day. That's also a part of your participation. Okay. Homework, again, all of our homework is going to be assigned through Mastering Chemistry. There will be a few exceptions, but I'll point that out. Notice that homework is worth 10% of your grade, so it's pretty significant. There are a lot of opportunities for extra credit on Mastering Chemistry, so make sure you go through and get all of those points. Plus, I always say practice makes better. So the more problems you work, the better you're going to get. Okay. We have exams and quizzes. So there will be 4 regular exams, and of those 4 regular exams, one of your scores will be dropped. And then we have 2 unit exams where those scores are not going to be dropped. So we'll talk more about those. And then you can just take a look at this pie chart and get an idea of how much things are worth. But really make sure you're doing your homework. That will help prepare you for quizzes and exams. We'll also talk about supplemental instruction, which will be really helpful. And then you have a grading scheme. Some tips for you to be successful in the class. Again, I really want you to be successful, so take some time to really look at this. The very first thing I have on this list is attending office hours. I can't stress enough that this is your time to come into my office. You can ask whatever you like. You can come in with a friend, but this is your time. I really like to call it drop-in hours. And if you can't make the scheduled office hours, remember, my schedule is flexible. You just send me an email with a few days and times that work, and we can always meet outside of office hours. Besides that, really we want to attend all lectures, problem sessions, and labs. Your startup assignments. So again, these are going to be assignments that you complete that ask you questions about the chapter. So you read through the chapter, you answer a few questions before we start lecturing on that topic. That way you come in already having seen a lot of the terms, a lot of the concepts, and then we'll build on that. And it's also a part of your participation grade. Ask questions. I know sometimes it's a little intimidating asking questions in class, but make sure you're either asking in class or during office hours, right before or after class. Ask a lot of questions. You can ask me whatever. Turn in all of your lab assignments. This one I would circle, box, star. It's worth 20% of your grade, so you want to make sure you're turning in all of your assignments, and I'm happy to look over them before you turn them in. Reading the material before class, so you'll do that as a part of your startup assignments. One thing I recommend is do all of your homework and also redo the problems. So continue to work the problems, again, until you feel comfortable really working a problem without any of your notes in a timely fashion. Also, I recommend saving your quizzes and exams and going over them, really looking over what you missed, making sure you understand those concepts. The last thing I want to highlight is supplemental instruction. So this is going to be one of your peers. Her name is Daisy. She's awesome. And she's taken the class and been really successful. And she's going to lead 3 additional problem sessions. And I highly encourage you to go to these because some of the problems you'll go over in supplemental instruction, you will see again on quizzes. So it's a good incentive to go to those. Okay, if we go on to the next page, we have our lecture schedule. So in addition to having the startup assignments, you'll always know about where we are in the book. So it has the date, the chapter, and sections we're going over, what topic, and also what's due. So you have a few different items in this column. The first being your startup assignments, and I'll show you where that is in Canvas. We have our Mastering Chemistry assignments. So this will be the online homework, the one where you need to buy an access code. And the last type of assignment that will be due are, even though most of your homework is on Mastering Chemistry, especially when we get to the organic section where you have a lot more structures and things to draw, some of those you will handwrite and turn in class. So those are the ones that are going to be in red. So why don't we take a moment and look at Mastering Chemistry and look at Canvas so you have an idea of what those look like. Here's what Mastering Chemistry looks like once you enter your access code and you've logged in. I'm going to click on one assignment just so you get an idea of what that looks like. You have a calendar, so these are going to be the same due dates that are on your syllabus, but it may also help to periodically check in here. Let's click on Chapter 1. And I'm going to go to student view so we can see what you'll see. And the nice thing about this is you can look through all of the problems and you can see, well, these ones are actually for credit, whereas you have some that are for practice, you have some that are for extra credit. So especially if you are a push for time, I would go through and do the ones that are for points first. And then I still recommend going back and doing the ones that are for practice and for extra credit. But that way you can budget your time depending on how much time you have in that given week. What our Canvas page looks like. So this is the equivalent of Blackboard. I will send you an email invite, so you'll create a login for this. And I just wanted to show you the main tabs on the side. So there will be an announcements tab once I make some announcements. You'll also get email reminders of those. But the most important ones are going to be modules. See what that looks like. And everything is organized by topic. So we have some of the things at the very beginning. We have chapter 1, and you have links to everything, our PDF files, TED Ed lessons, Quizlet apps that are very helpful, but you already have this for every single chapter, so it may be a good idea if you have time to start looking at those. Another thing will be files. And that's going to be organized by course info, so things like syllabi, exams and quizzes, handouts, all the problems we work in class. All of the startup assignments are here, even though they're also in modules. problem sets, and once I start posting keys for the problem sets, you'll go in and you'll find them here. So you should be able to find pretty much everything you need in files and also in modules. I also do post grades, but I hold off until you've taken your first exam. That way you have enough assignments to really assess where you are. So that's Canvas. You can also contact me through Canvas, so it's another way to do that. Example of your startup assignment. So this is the Chapter 1 startup assignment. You have the due date on your syllabus. The very first thing I list are going to be all of the learning outcomes for that chapter. So a lot of times people ask me, well, what's going to be on the exam? And for each chapter, you have these learning outcomes. So what I would do is at the end of those chapters, or once we're done talking about it in class, I would go through each of them and check them off, and the ones that you know, you already have that. The ones that you still have some questions about, come in and see me, but this will tell you exactly what I want you to know for exams. So what you'll do for these is you will read through the chapter, and you have some guided questions that you'll answer before you come to class. So it will be due at, if it's on a Tuesday or Thursday at the beginning of lab, you'll turn it in, or if it's on a Friday at the beginning of lecture. But you'll go through and you'll answer these questions. You know, you may not be able to answer every single one, but do your best. And then this will kind of lead our discussion in class. So this will be your startup assignment for each chapter. This is what it will look like. Our syllabus. I would read these as a reminder of what you're supposed to do for each type of assignment. And I would also make note of all of the exam dates. What I would do at the beginning of the semester is just put them in your phone, maybe set a week reminder, that way you can start preparing. I post exam topics for every single exam, usually a week before, but you actually already have all of them for the semester. So you can already start to look at, okay, these are the things that I really need to know for each of those chapters. And I also do practice exams, usually also posted a week before, so you'll have access to those. Right? You have some important dates here, so I'll just leave you to look at those. And then we also have our lab schedule. So again, we have a new laboratory manual, so you want to make sure you get the newest one that's in the bookstore. We have the dates and what lab experiment or exercise or computer exercise, what we'll be doing that day. Okay, and you also have a list of what's due. So every time you have one of the labs from the manual, you're going to do the pre-lab study questions for that corresponding lab. So you'll read through the experiment, answer the pre-lab study questions, and then in blue you have when all of your lab reports are due. So your lab report is going to be your pre-lab study questions, your data that you take actually in the lab, plus any post-lab questions. So you'll staple all that together. One thing to keep in mind is everything should be written in ink. Okay, if you make a mistake, you put one line through it and keep going. Don't scribble it out. But that's something we'll go over more when we start the semester. Okay, so you have all of those. There's one lab in particular where you're going to watch a video and print out a flow chart, but we'll get to that when we get there. Okay, here's all of the laboratory information. So again, it's worth 20% of your overall grade. So we have 20% here. You really want to turn in all of your assignments because you must pass lab in order to pass lecture. So you want to have a 65% overall or better in order to pass the laboratory, to pass the class. We are going to have mostly lab reports. You saw the due dates on the previous page, but we're also going to have 4 unannounced, very short quizzes. As long as you're reading through the labs before you come to class and you're doing the assignments, you should be perfectly fine with these. Okay. Even though we have a lot of lab reports that we're turning in, I only actually grade 14 of those throughout the semester. So you want to make sure you're trying to do your best on each one, since you won't know which ones that I'm going to grade. And again, you're welcome to come in and I can look over lab reports with you before you turn them in. The other thing that we have in lab is going to be a final lab quiz. And there's also a topic sheet of that, so what things to focus on for that. And that will be at the very end, so the second to the last week. All right, I'll leave this for you, but one thing I take very seriously is lab safety. So these are just some things to keep in mind, but you'll also go over them on the first day of lab. Okay. Other resources that I wanted to leave you with. So you have access to so many things on Fullerton College's campus. So really take advantage of these. These are live links, so you can click on any of these to get more information. But if there is anything that you need throughout the semester, chances are we have it. So I would look through these, and if you're not finding what you need, come to me and ask, because it most likely is out there already. So our classroom learning environment, I have a few things here that I want you to take a look at that I'll leave you to. The one thing I do like to point out is my cell phone policy, because I want you to make sure when you're in class, you're getting the most out of it. So I allow cell phones to be out on your desk, but you cannot be actively on it. I realize you may have an emergency or you may have children, so you need to have access to your cell phone. So you can leave it out on your desk, just leave it alone. If you need to make a phone call or take a call, just get up and step outside. That's perfectly fine. But if I see you actively on your phone, doing work that doesn't relate to the class, then I will ask you to leave, because it affects the people around you. Okay, so a few more things here, and a quick chemistry fact, just to start to get you thinking about the class. But again, if you have any questions at all, you can email me, you can post to our Facebook page, and I'm happy to answer whatever it is that you have questions on. So I will see you soon.